This is Hannibal here from thehannibaltv.com. Good news for stockholders for WWE, but bad news for wrestling fans. WWE executive, who's also an executive of TKO, which owns UFC as well, Mark Shapiro did a media call today. This is the 1 year anniversary of UFC and WWE being absorbed by TKO. Apparently, they are no longer going to do a lot of live events. I already cut it way back this year from 300 the previous year to 250 this year. It's only going to be 200 events next year. They weren't specific if this also includes NXT or not, but they do have 3 brands, so that's 200 total events. So divide 200 by 3. You don't have to work that much these days if you're a wrestler. Their reasons for this is to what they call marginally profitable events, like in smaller cities where they used to go quite often. They don't feel it's worth it anymore. They would rather people travel to the big cities for events and not bother with the smaller shows in mid-sized arenas where the profit isn't worth it to them. Here's one thing that seems to be a bit of an exaggeration. And apparently they want to boost ticket prices because, quote unquote, they are selling out left and right for WWE events. I don't know if they are selling out left or right. To be perfectly honest, I really don't. I guess you can definitely increase the chances of selling out. For instance, if you're only doing shows in like Ottawa and Toronto now for Ontario and not doing any of the smaller towns and people are all going to have to drive, then you can boost ticket prices because more people are going to travel and you're going to get less people. You're not going to get like as many passive fans going to events, but they're saying that they actually get mad because they don't think ticket prices are high enough and they want to optimize ticket prices. So in other words, they don't think ticket prices are high enough. I don't know, man. They're pretty high to me. Wasn't the average ticket price for the Bash in Berlin show the equivalent of 300 American? They don't think that's high enough. I guess because in theory you could charge higher, since they still got like 13,000 in there, even though that arena could hold 17,000. They did 13,000-ish and 12,000 the night before for SmackDown, charging ludicrously high ticket prices. So I guess as long as their record-breaking profits are good, they're going to keep boosting them. They want to do more situations for premium live events where places are paying for premium live events to come. So we are seeing this all the time now, and this definitely appears to be working. Cities are paying for live events to come, and they want to do more situations where cities are paying for WWE and UFC weekends, where there's multiple events over the weekends. I can see why they'd want to do that, and it appears to be working for them. It's putting some cities on the map, like Cardiff, Wales. Honestly, I'm not hating on Cardiff, Wales. I did have some family from Wales at one point that have passed away now. But how many people have heard of it? But since they've paid for events in Cardiff in recent years, now most wrestling fans know where it is. Apparently, as far as the AEW media rights deal and other wrestling news, the Ring of Honor streaming service, according to the Wrestling Observer, only has about 10,000 subscribers. Whether their new media rights deal is going to include Ring of Honor programming or not remains to be seen, but apparently it's very close to being finished and is going to include a lot of streaming content. And who knows if this is going to mean more AEW content or not. It seems like as soon as Collision and Rampage were created, really watered down Dynamite. So I don't know if they get even more content deals, if that's going to help them or not, or just water down the product more. Who knows? Dennis says he paid $100 for last week for nosebleeds. I don't know. To me, maybe it's just because I'm like your average person. To me, that's too much for someone like me to ever want to spend money on. I mean, you may as well just watch stuff on YouTube if you're going to sit in the nosebleeds. But if people are paying it, why not? HEF Media says the only justified reasons to raise ticket prices is the return of the Hands of Stone. Ronnie Garvin. I agree with that. Hello to the Cheap Heat Productions podcast. I wonder how much tickets are in Ireland when they go over there. They probably charge on average more than they charge here because it's so rare. But for saying they're selling out left or right, they just did a Raw taping here in Ottawa, and they got several thousand less fans than they did for the previous WWE TV taping here in Ottawa. So, I mean, you can say that they're hot, but they just did a 0.45 rating on Monday, their lowest rating since January. They're making a ton of money. They're not in any sign of death or even going down or anything like that. But just to me, it's like, why charge more just for the sake of charging more? I don't know. Yeah, John, like for me, if you're going to charge a ridiculous amount, just watch from home on Netflix, but you're only going to have to pay the Netflix fee. But if you're a big enough fan to pay thousands of dollars for ringside tickets for a premium live event, why not? Yes, Finn Balor and JD are going to be on an independent show in Ireland. Front row, €90. Yeah, I guess with the less house shows, that allows their talent to do independent shows, do TNA shows here and there, and special shows. So it's good in some ways, but for the people that, like, when they were kids, really liked going to house shows like me, there used to be 4 here a year. I mean, those were like some of the highlights of my childhood. It's going to suck for people that don't get to have that live event experience anymore. Someone said they paid $800 for floor seats at WrestleMania 18 at the Sky Dome. They weren't even close to the ring, and that was back in 2002. A lot of people would rather watch on TV. Good for them to be making that much money. I'm not hating on them. I just think, as someone that's not from a rich family or anything, I'm glad I didn't grow up in that era of the extremely high price ticket prices and the no house show era, because I don't even know if I would have been a fan, because it would have outpriced my ability to go to